Jay here with Damon Buys Houses, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. We're going to have an experience I had recently. I wanted to tell you about it, get your thoughts on it. I know what my thoughts are. They weren't good. So I'm going to tell you. I had a potential client call me. She was in a jam. She was dating this guy. We'll call him John, just to make it easy. And John lived in Atlanta. She lived here in Roanoke, Virginia. And she wanted to sell her house and send John all of her money so he could invest it and they could make millions. So glad I could help. I meet with, we'll call her Karen. And as I was talking with Karen, it sounded like she was getting catfished. If you don't know what catfishing is, look it up. As we were talking about her house and what she was looking to do with it, her phone rang and John called on WhatsApp. That's the only way they communicated. Red flag. So she was talking to him and said, hey, I'm meeting Jay with Damon Buys Houses. And, we're talking about how much we can sell the house for. Just to give some background, the house was probably worth about $300,000 to $350,000. So it was a decent house, nice house. She wanted the money now and so quickly to give to John that she wanted me to buy it for $150,000. And that's another red flag. So I'm not out there to take advantage of anybody. So I wanted to learn more. So when she was on the phone with John, I asked if I could speak with John and just get some background information. And when I asked that, he hung up. Another red flag. So at that time I said, Karen, I really do think that I don't think John is who he says he is. She said they've been talking for months on the phone and all that stuff. And again, look up catfishing, you'll know exactly what she's talking about. So I told her I'm not comfortable signing a contract with her, buying her house or anything like that, because she had no backup plan. Because when I asked her, what are you gonna do with the money? If I did buy it for that, what are you gonna do with the money? And her thing was, I'm gonna send it to John immediately, and then I'm gonna move down there in like a week, and we're gonna live happily ever after. In my mind, I envisioned she sends him the money, and she never hears from him again, and now she's homeless with no money, which is just a bad situation for everyone involved, except for John, of course. So again, I told her, please be careful. I'm not comfortable with this, and take some time, think about it. Think about what I said, that I think it's a scam, what have you. She said she would. I didn't hear from her for a couple weeks, and then my phone rang, and she said, Jay, I need your help. I said, okay, well, what can I help you with? I signed a contract with another company, and they promised that they would give me the money, the same amount that she wanted from me, and that she had worked out that she was going to be able to stay there for an additional 2 weeks after they closed, so that way she could pack up her stuff and leave and move down to Atlanta. After signing the contract, she was told that that is not the case and that she needed to be out the day of closing. She was really upset because she thinks that she got hoodwinked. I know this company. I've had many dealings with this company. It's a somewhat a local company, and I asked to see the contract. She said she didn't have a copy of the contract, that the person had taken it with them. I said, well, I'm no lawyer. I don't claim to be, but I do know that you are supposed to get a copy of anything that you sign, and that she should probably call the company back, say, hey, you didn't give me anything, copy of the contract that I signed, so therefore not really valid. Which she did. She talked to the representative that went out to her house, who then passed her on to the owner of the company. They went back and forth a few times, but they eventually said, you're absolutely right, and she was out of it. Again, I had a conversation with Karen. Karen, this is two instances where, call it divine intervention, call it whatever you want, but you've been bailed out. I didn't buy it. That person didn't buy it either. It doesn't look like you should really sell your house. Because again, she has no backup plan. She worked part-time at a local hardware store. That was her only income. The house was left to her and it was paid off, so she didn't owe anything on it. Like that was her nest egg. So again, I advise, hey, please just stop, think about what you're doing, and just let it be, which I was hoping that I had gotten through. Fortunately, the next week I got another phone call from Karen that she had signed a contract with someone that she worked with at that hardware company, and pretty much same thing had happened. But he did give her a copy of the contract. So she ended up selling her house because he had negotiated with her for $100,000. It was, like I said, it's probably about a $300,000 to $350,000 house. So great deal for him, not so much for her. She did end up sending all the money to John, and she did end up getting kicked out of the house, because that was the next conversation I had with her as to if I could help her find a place to live. Obviously, it wasn't a great conversation I had with her because I don't have any houses that I can just give her, but I did get her in touch with someone that could help her find a rental. It was a real eye-opening experience because, I know myself and Damon firmly believe in doing right by the consumer and obviously ourselves, and everything needs to be a win-win situation, because if it's not worth doing, and no one wants to take advantage of anyone, especially when they're down or being swindled or misled in any way. That's just bad business all the way around. But there are people out there who will gladly take advantage of that situation, take advantage of that person. And, it's unfortunate. But I wanted to put it out there just so firsthand, we're not out here. We're out here to make money, but we're not out here to take advantage of anyone. And it's unfortunate that others do. But in doing so, it just kind of separates, the good from great and so on. So I leave you with this. If it's too good to be true, it is. If it's not a win for you and a win for the other side, it's not worth doing. And if you can't sleep at night, it's definitely not worth doing. So I thankfully can sleep pretty well at night, unless my 3-year-old comes in at 2 a.m. and wakes me up like he did this morning. That wasn't fun, but hey, that's my cross to bear. But I leave you with that, and thanks again. Any comments that you may have, put them below. If you have any stories like that, I'd love to hear them. If you have a house to sell and you want someone's honest opinion, please contact me. I'd love to come out and take a look at it. But rest assured that there are more stories out there like that. This is just the latest one that I had that I wanted to put it out there just so others can learn from it. I appreciate it. Again, Jay with Damon Buys Houses. Like, subscribe, click all that stuff. And until next time, I'll talk to you. Thank you.